Hello and good morning, friends. Now, if there's one thing that we've learnt over the past 80 years, it's that conservatives have an addiction. They are addicted to losing. Even when they are in the throes of an incredible victory, they just can't help but snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. It's something that you always see, and it comes down to, I think, a bit of a generational and attitude divide that happens within conservatives and those younger than them. And this is not shown any better than in a recent spat that has been caused by one Chris Rufo, who I will go out of my way to say straight away before anybody starts to get on me, has done good work as a conservative propagandist. But, as always, he lets it slip a little bit once victory has been achieved. We've got Donald Trump coming into office with his new administration in a week or two. So, of course, now is time for conservatives to start repeating the same old tropes that made people hate them in the first place, even other people on the right who are right-wing but perhaps do not consider themselves to be conservative. Now, what am I talking about? This all comes from this interaction. It all starts here, and particularly the focal point has been this tweet that he put out. And what this is, I don't know what started this. Somebody called Wayne Burkett said that, oh, I've lost some followers over some things that I've said. Chris Rufo says, oh, well, you're 100% correct on this issue. And then he starts to suddenly talk about how I assume that this is to do with the generational struggles that younger people are experiencing, particularly the Zoomers. Now, who are the Zoomers? The Zoomers are a young cohort of people who, from the second that they have been born, have been told that due to their race, due to their gender, due to their sexuality, that they are bad people, that they are the harbingers of the apocalypse, that they are the cause of everything wrong in the world. Whilst they've been told that, they've seen their countries deteriorate around them, being transformed into pure economic zones, and their homelands have been told that they don't belong to them. They never belonged to them in the first place. They were built by other people, people that you're not related to, so you have no claim on it. While this has been going on, feminism and other things have made it incredibly difficult for young men in particular to find fulfilling relationships, and overall, Zoomers, particularly younger Zoomers, have been very, very fed up with this. Older Zoomers can be a little bit more like millennials, who are the most preachy, moralistic, annoying generation to ever have been born. But younger Zoomers have increasingly become fed up, which is why you see all of this post-irony that goes around on TikTok and other such things, because they've decided they live in a clown world. The best thing that you can do in that situation is to put your makeup on and join in the circus. So Chris Rufo has an inspiring message for them, which is, we've got huge problems with the cost of housing and splintering culture, those two things that are incredibly important for anybody who wants to build a fulfilling life and have a home somewhere. But the economy is strong, incomes have never been higher, trades are hiring apprentices straight out of high school, and tech has enabled a wave of blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm a bit confused with this, because the American conservative talking point leading up to the recent election was that under Biden, the economy has never been weaker, inflation has been rampant and out of control, opportunities have flown away because they've been offshored or relegated to DEI, meaning that lots of promising young people that should have particular opportunities were denied those opportunities for no reason other than their immutable characteristics. But then all of a sudden, after the election is won, this brings to mind again Elon's H-1B visa rant, which he's still not taken back, and I believe Chris Rufo is actually in support of. So again, this left behind, denigrated, insulted generation is not only being told that they're worthless, they're also being told, you're worthless, which means we have to import higher skilled people to do the same jobs that you would have done but for lower wages. The second that the election is won, Chris Rufo turns around, well, actually, the economy is strong. There is nothing wrong. It's an incredible Orwellian doublethink that is being presented here, but I think people were most insulted by this when somebody responded saying, well, you're telling me the economy is strong, but I see layoffs and businesses closing, things are getting more expensive, the price of your grocery shopping is going to be way more expensive than it was at the beginning of the Biden term. So this is Already a ridiculous thing to say. And then Chris Rufo says, oh, well, actually, the Panda Express near my house is offering $70 per year, plus $70,000 per year, plus benefits for the assistant manager, and you can make $100,000 a year working at Chipotle for a few years and working up to store manager. Hear that? Do you hear what that is? Oh, that's every ambitious young man that just voted for Trump leaving. That's them leaving. They did not ask for America to be turned into an economic zone where they can live a life of comfortable mediocrity, right? What they wanted was America to become their home again. That's what many of them were promised with MAGA. And most of them are not going to be happy working at Chipotle for $100,000 a year, even if that does make it that they're very, very comfortable. Because I double-checked this because I wasn't sure. I thought $100,000 a year, but then again, I'm in Britbong land, which is one of the poorer countries in the world now, which means that I have a completely out of touch perspective on how much jobs should pay, because we're also poor over here. So yes, apparently a general manager for Chipotle in the United States, you can earn up to, according to Indeed, $94,000 per year, but the average is about $60,000 per year. So I've not been to America, but I can imagine that you could live a relatively comfortable life on $94,000 a year, even though at the same time, a lot of other Americans I've seen have been saying, well, you can earn that much, but depending on where you are, which will also dictate how much you're earning there, you still might not be able to afford a house. You're still going to be refused opportunities. And this doesn't stop the cultural breakdown of the country that's supposed to be your home. And at which point, Chris Rufo, he doesn't really have much to say on this other than, oh, well, I took a job as a security guard for $11 an hour when I was finishing college, so I could work on creative projects, lived in a second-tier city with roommates, didn't have a car, eventually sold one of my films, was able to ditch the side job, but it was a great time. I read books at the library, I did all this fun stuff. But that's not the life that you're asking people to accept here. $100,000 per year at Chipotle is not the same as terrible wages where you're able to share a life and kind of do exciting things. Yeah, you're struggling, but part of the ambitious young man's goals is to struggle. The struggle in life is what makes it worth it. If you accept mediocrity and accept a petty materialism for your entire life, you might as well be dead. That's soul-destroying. That's not nourishing to people's ambitions, their lives, what they want to expect from life. And this is actually, a lot of people don't really get it anymore, but this is exactly what was being told in Fight Club and in The Matrix. Yes, these people, Neo in The Matrix had a cozy office job and he went out a few times, and in Fight Club, yeah, he was able to afford all of this material rubbish and he was very comfortable. But there was something missing from their lives, and that was struggle, that was pain, that was life vitalistic experiences. Those films were telling you that you can't live like this. There is something missing. People don't understand it anymore because they look back and they go, well, I can't even have that lifestyle. But Chris Rufo is pointing to that lifestyle, which is so soul-crushing, and saying, well, maybe you can have this again. That was never the point. The point of those films is that if you are living like this, you may as well be dead. You need excitement. You need adventure, especially for a young man. There's a reason that in the time of Empire, so many young men would sign up on these adventures that might get them killed. There's a reason that we explored the Arctic at great risk to our own health. And it's because of the fact that we crave adventure. We crave excitement, because to just lay down and accept your lot in life is to die. Now, this might be suitable for some people. For some people, their ambitions may only take them as far as Chipotle. And if that's what they want from life, that's their choice, that's their preference, whatever. But to just say, oh, just accept your lot in life, who cares? Settle for less. Do you think that's going to win people over? Do you think that's going to win converts? onto the conservative path. Do you think that's going to make people say, oh, I want to live like this, I want to follow your example? No. No. They're going to hear settle for less. And then they're going to say, well, is there anybody offering anything better? And the last person I wanted to talk about was, this was a huge storm where a lot of people got into arguments. There were a lot of people on Chris's side. There were a lot of people on, let's say, my side talking about this. Matt Walsh was on Chris's side. And what did he say when somebody pointed out inflation? They did get the figures wrong. They said $17,000 a year. 20 years ago, it was like $45,000 today. Now, according to an inflation calculator in this community note, is actually $28,000 today. But still, Matt Walsh coming out saying, oh, there's been inflation, but not nearly as much as you seem to think. You're living in a fantasy land. You have no historical perspective at all. See, what happens here is that young people say, my life is terrible and nobody is coming to help me, and there's no opportunity here for me to help myself. And now that they've won the election, these conservatives, they just look down at you from their ivory towers and they spit on you. They spit on you and go, well, I had it tough too, you know. This is the exact attitude that made the boomers such a hated generation, especially when other people can point out that just 2 years ago, just a little over 2 years ago, Matt Walsh was saying, our nation is ravaged by inflation, and now we're running out of food for our babies. DC has decided it is best to ship $40 billion to a corrupt foreign government. These people are evil, traitors, they hate this country and they hate you. So that's the rhetoric of the conservative when he's got an election to win, when he's in the opposition. But as soon as his side wins, boom, boom, spit. I hate you. I hate you, and I hate everything you stand for, and I hope you settle for less, and I hope you stay in the gutter where you deserve. That's the attitude. And they wonder why so many young people don't consider themselves conservatives anymore. And that's not for lack of right-wing feeling in young people. That's for the lack of opportunity and care they see coming from conservatives' top advocates. And I think if they lose people over this, it's well deserved.